we're going over again scientific notation. Sci, not, part, de. No. Scientific notation, part 2. So if you look at that example on page 17, basically what we're going to be doing is multiplying and dividing in scientific notation. So let's look at the multiplying one. We have 3.1 times 10 to the 4th multiplied by 4 times 10 to the 3rd. Now we can go over this the long way, which we're going to do. If I look at all this, I see that all I'm doing is multiplying. Now when it comes to multiplying, what is a nice little property you learned way back when you were a little child? Yes? Yeah, when it comes to multiplying and dividing, actually, you can move it around in any order you want. And it's not going to matter because the answer is not going to change because all you're doing is multiplying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these two terms right here. So it'll become 3.1 times 4 times 10 to the 4th power times 10 to the 3rd power. If you don't remember that property, that's called the commutative property. You can commute them or move them. Now using the associative property, as you mentioned, I'm going to group these two guys together and these two guys together because it doesn't matter which ones you associate, you'll still get the same answer when you multiply them. What's 3.1 times 4? So that's 12 point what? 12.4. What's 10 to the 4th times 10 to the 3rd? 10 to the 7th. Good job. So is this my final answer, 12.4 times 10 to the 7th? No, why not? This thing has to be between the 1 and the 2. Remember, in scientific notation, this number should be between 1 and 10. So that means I'm going to have to move this guy over here. So this becomes 1.24. Now the question is this, I always forget. Is the answer 10 to the 8th or 10 to the 6th? I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is, just to double check, I'm going to write down a 124 and move the decimal point over, in this case 6 times. Or I'm going to write this down and move the decimal point over 7 times. 1, 2, that's 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Now I move it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yep. Who said 8? Everyone but me? Good. So it's 10 to the 8th.
Wait, why is it 10 to the 8th?
Because when I move this over here, actually I don't know how to explain that. What I did was I wrote it as 1, 2, 4, and then I moved the decimal point over 7 times. So that's a 1, 2, 4 with 6 zeros. So I know the point has to go there, yes? So all I did was count how many spaces between the actual point and where it needed to be. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. Yeah, I guess if you move it to the left, add 1, if you want to remember it that way. All right, if I go over here, I'm going to do the division problem. 117 times 10 to the negative 3rd divided by 6 times 10 to the 4th. Let's see. My 10 is supposed to be on top anyway, yes? So let's look at this. The same idea, when it comes to multiplying or dividing, it doesn't matter what order you do it in, just as long as you realize you're dividing by 6 and dividing by 10 to the 4th. So here, what's 117 divided by 6? So I'm going to split this up to this guy and this guy. Any ideas? How many times does 6 go into 11? Once. How much is left over?
5.
How many times does 6 go into 57?
9 times.
6 times 9 is how much? 54. How much left over? 3. Let's add a decimal and a 0. How many times, oh, there's my decimal. How many times does 6 go into 30?
0.5.
All right, 0.5. So I divided 117 divided by 6 is 19.5. I'm not going to go over the long division part because you're all in 8th grade now. You should know how to do that. Now the tricky part is this guy right here. Let me rewrite this as 10 to the negative third divided by 10 to the fourth. I want to put my answer up on top, right? So that means I have to flip this. So this becomes 10 to the negative third times 10 to the negative fourth. When you flip it, remember you switch the sign. We learned that a couple days ago. Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now negative 3 plus negative 4 is how much? Negative 7. So if you owe somebody $3 and you owe somebody else $4, you owe a total of $7. And my answer is not in scientific notation because I have to move it once over there. 1.95. Now I always forget again, if I'm going to use this problem right over here, since I moved it one to the left, what did I do with the numbers here, the exponents? I added 1. So I'll just do the same thing over here. Since I'm moving it 1 to the left, I add 1. What's negative 7 plus 1? Negative 6. Okie dokes, artichokes. If you thought scientific notation was difficult but now find it easy, try watching one of these other videos that I made. There's one right here and one right here. Or you can subscribe right here.
Nicole, subscribe button.
All right.